Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Tonight we're going to take a look at two new trucks that have come out in a DLC for Snowrunner. We have the C500 and the T880. Both of these are Kenworth trucks. They're kind of middling trucks. And so by that I mean they aren't bad. They don't do anything extraordinary. These are going to be more for the collector that loves the Kenworth line of trucks and wants to add more Kenworths into that said line of trucks in the game. I don't really see a need to buy either of these trucks. We have trucks from both in-game season passes and DLCs that are stronger, better equipped, can do different chores better. But you got these two guys, and they're pretty cool. They do have a couple unique things to them, but for the most part, they are just about the same as any other truck in the game. They come with the same buff Kenworth tires that this game always gives the Kenworth DLC trucks. In fact, the tires are, even though they're all-terrains, they work better than even like the Jat off-roading tires. So you're probably best trying to keep the Kenworth wheels and tires on these trucks. They will perform a little bit better, not a ton better, but a little bit better than they will even with the good old overpowered Jat tires. The Kenworth tires just always seem to do better. So the C500 is a heavy-duty off-road truck. It's designed for non-road purposes. In real life, you would see them as cement trucks, dump trucks, in construction sites, crane trucks, as we have here on the left side, and then also like pumps, that kind of thing. You don't really see them on road much at all, if ever. They're not designed for road usage. They're designed for off-road usage. That said, this truck does not have a raised kit or anything like that. There is no bigger tires. So you're going to be struggling in deep mud with this truck. But I did some testing yesterday, and it is a fairly capable truck. In most circumstances, it is going to be okay, except for the very deepest mud where you have flowing water, and lots of trucks have problems in this game. This is not going to be any different than those trucks. The T880, I think people are going to find probably a little bit more disappointing. It has no all-wheel drive. It is a diff lock only. Unlike the 990, though, that came in a DLC, it is not super capable off-road. The 990 does really well off-road, and even in pretty muddy circumstances, the 990 is able to power through because it's taller, has bigger wheels, stands taller. This truck tends to be a little bit lower and will perform a little bit more on the lines of, let's say, the Western Digital. The Western Star series of trucks like the 49X, the Wolf Pack. Basically, this truck is going to be similar to some of those trucks, like the was it 49X? It is a strictly road truck. You can do what we did is some testing. I took both of these up to the castle last night, heavily loaded with fuel, with a big fuel tanker. The C550 was able to just go straight up the back road, so we went with it. I took it, where's the castle at on the map? Here. With the C500, I just went up this crazy mountain road with all these rocks that we had to climb. And the C500 struggled a little bit in this area right before the castle because it's very steep. But we were able to, using the winch, get all the way up here. And it's quite a climb. With the T850, I had to end up going around this way, and came all the way back through this road here, and then took the bigger dirt road, and we made it all the way up to the castle. With the 880, so in other words, it gets the same place, but you just have to be careful how you route it, because it's not going to be doing it as easily as a truck with all-wheel drive. It will go all places, but you need to consider your route fairly carefully, because it's just not super good off-road. So dirt roads, some mud, like light mud action, maybe halfway up to the wheel wells type mud, you'll be okay. But if you get into the flowing mud, reeds, places where there's cattails, you're going to be winching out. And it's going to be a little bit harder even because there's no front wheel drive to assist you, or all-wheel drive, I guess, if you will. The front wheels don't turn. It's all back wheel. So this has diff lock, but there is no all-wheel drive. One Once again, this is not a truck that you have to have. The game already has a bunch of trucks in here that are better or on the same par as this truck. But it really is probably more for the collector, somebody that wants to have all the trucks, which is me. I play this game a lot. I like having a variety of trucks to pick from. And so to me, this is worth it. And I like the challenge, too, of trying to run a truck that doesn't necessarily have all the off-road goodies that the other trucks do. So it's kind of fun to have a little bit of a challenge once in a while. Things that are unique to these trucks, obviously, you get with the pack, you get these two DLC paint schemes. You've got this chameleon paint job here with the flames, and then on the other truck you can see it's got a steampunk paint job. So that those are the two special paint jobs that come with the trucks. They also have a cool variety of colors. Like you can see the red truck back there with the stripes matching the crane. There's several different paint schemes or color mixes with that. And today what we're going to do to kind of test these out is we're going to take these trucks. I'm going to load a vehicle onto the back and lock it down, and then we're going to deliver these vehicles to the farm because the local farmer has bought these. I'm making all this up. There is no actual mission. But just to test these trucks out and see how we can get to the farm using different routes with these trucks. One thing that should be mentioned before we continue, these trucks can take pretty much every add-on that the game can throw at it. This truck has a custom flatbed that's different than any other flatbed in the game. Doesn't do anything different, but it just looks different. It's a 2-slotter, and it gives you room for a crane. So you can use this as like standard any other truck and then put a trailer behind it and carry 4 slots. But I just wanted to point that out because that is custom to this truck only. We can do small logs, medium logs, service trailer. This is the same on both trucks, guys, by the way. Flatbed, big flatbed. Yep, and then this one has some safety equipment that you can put on it, but the other truck does not have those. And once again, with the 500, you have to be careful with this bumper. It will stick on everything when you take a nosedive. So be aware that that gets down in the dirt. We do have some other options that pull that back a little bit. So if you're planning on doing off-roading with this truck, this heavy-duty pipe seems to be my favorite as far as allowing the truck to get a little bit deeper down. When you have to put the nose down, it does not necessarily get stuck on the terrain, whereas this will definitely get stuck on the terrain. So just be aware of that. Good idea to change to a heavy bumper if you can. On the T880, we have this interesting, really long flatbed that also, I believe this will be a 3-slot, if I'm not mistaken. And it also carries, you have a nice big truck hitch on the back there, so you can pull more. You're going to do 5 slots together with this truck. However, once again, I would kind of question the off-road capabilities of this truck. And here's the custom paint scheme too, by the way. You can get this in several different colors. But so this gives you the opportunity to pull more stuff off-road. It's really a vehicle bed. You can see you've got the tow truck lights. When you call this like a, they call them a flatbed or whatever, but this is what towing people use. The bed in general will move, and then you can pull a truck up onto it, and then you load it back up. However, oddly enough, even though we have that type of bed that works, I think that the articulated towing platform, right, that works. This one does not. It's for looks. It doesn't function. That's kind of surprising to me. Maybe they'll fix that later. It's even got the little handles at the back of the truck where you would, the operator would stand back there and... Sorry, my wife was letting me know that I can go up because the puppies are clear. So you can see here, this is where the operator would stand and control the bed and move this back and forward and up and down and be able to use the winch to pull the truck onto it. But these are non-functional, so that's a little bit disappointing. It even shows in the picture down here, you can see there's a picture of it pulling the truck up on the bed, but they must have screwed that up and it doesn't work. So I don't know if they're going to add that, or to be honest with you, it doesn't work very well anyway. So you're better just using a crane to load stuff onto it, but that's what we're going to do. But yeah, it says extended length variant. Oh no, it says of the flatbed add-on. Okay, so it doesn't say there, but it shows a picture of that working. And as long with these, you can see compatibility. I don't know. Yeah, towing platform. But okay, well, whatever. Lame. So I'm going to go ahead and use my C500 to load this tractor onto our shorter C500, and then the really long Rezvani is going to go onto our T880, and we're going to deliver both of these to the farm as our test for tonight. So if you wanted to see the quick view and just kind of look and see what the trucks have and what I think about them, that was it. Once again, I think that they're not necessarily a needed component to your gaming. These are for the collector that wants to buy some extra trucks for the game. They're not going to add anything new or cool or wild or revolutionary to the game. They're just there for you to enjoy and to drive, and I like them. I think they're worth it. But and they're pretty capable trucks. They're just not super trucks. There's definitely trucks in the game that are a lot better, that are way better, honestly. Like the Freightliner 914 blows both of these trucks out of the water. Obviously, you got a bunch of different trucks that do different things, but there's several trucks in the game that are far better than these. But they're cool, and they're Kenworth, and so they're neat looking. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and load these up, and then we will do our little trial run. You guys can see how they do, if we can survive it or not. This is not freaking working. All I'm saying is I hope this farmer likes his eggs scrambled. This did not go well. The truck was like that, I swear to God. It was like that from the factory. Let's see. Pack trucks and trailers. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to take the crappy truck first and do this little mission, and then we'll come back. And I'm going to have to put a Scout or something on the back of the other truck. I cannot for the life of me, get that stupid tractor up the ramp. I'll try one more time, but this was enough of a daunting task. It took me, as you can see, the whole day to do it. Now, I've plotted what I think is going to be the best route for this truck on the map. Let's go ahead and turn the lights on and get skedaddling. So that was quite an adventure getting these loaded on the truck. The Rezvani does not have a central loading hook like a lot of the Scouts do. So I don't know if there's, maybe if you put some kind of topper on it, you could get that, but it doesn't do it naturally. So anyway, we're ready to deliver this thing. Oh, I forgot. We need to put on these ceremonial beacons. Ooh, yeah. That's one of the cool features about this truck. So it does actually have towing beacons on it. Lets the world know, look out, I'm towing. You can see here, we're doing just great along this road. It's when you get into the mud that things don't get so nice. So you should try your best to avoid deep mud, but occasionally you have to use it. And honestly, it's not terrible. Now here's something I'm not gonna lie. I haven't done this before. Rock climbing with the. I have a feeling this is going to be a bit of a challenge for this truck. And you won't run into this kind of stuff in Michigan. Actually, this might be the only map where you do run into a lot of this. There we go. Just got to find the right angle to get those wheels. And maybe go this way a little bit. This is going to be dangerous because we're going to have to put the truck on edge. Oh. But it's doing it. Like you can see here, we're doing okay. That was just low gear, so you don't even have to have a special transmission for that gear. This one's going to be a problem because there's really nowhere else to go. And then we got a big rock, too. Ooh, ooh, tippy. Okay. And we've made it to our next checkpoint. There aren't that many checkpoints. It only took us a couple minutes to do this, but okay. So here's where the real challenge for this truck comes in. And I'm not sure where to keep the wheels spinning, if I want to have them slower, faster. But you can see us sucking right in, and we're going to... Okay, I'm going to reduce wheel spin here. Diff lock is on. I'm going to do it maybe mid-low. And our big problem is going to be there's nothing pulling at the front. So the front is just sucking into the mud. And you can see here why that's an issue. So I would pack a long winch and try to go to places where there's trees. But as you can see here, we are making it through the bog, and I have not winched. Though things are tipping a little bit precariously. Looks like we're going to make it through. Except for right here. This is where it's going to get real hard. Now, we think we have a tree to go to. But for, you got these wheels up front that aren't doing any help. But honestly, not bad. So the truck is not... People are complaining that it's not powerful enough. I think it's fine for what it is. It's not great, but as long as you keep the good tires on, And once again, we're running the Kenworth tires. It's okay in some fairly challenging terrain. This is not, you know, obviously the worst the maps get, and I wouldn't be taking this into like Emmer or Dan or Lake Coved. Like, those are all going to be places that are really bad for this truck. But for like, you know, slightly muddy, so Michigan, Alaska, the central like Eurasian map, Scandinavia, maybe even North Carolina. I would say definitely not the Yukon. The Yukon eats trucks, but you know, some of these like nicer areas, maps that are a little bit or better manicured, like this Swedish map, and I'm reducing the speed and then increasing my gas. This is where, now you can see the flowing water. This is where we may have an issue. Once you see the water moving like that, we might be causing that. Let's see if it, no, it goes steady when we're done, so that's just us. Look at that though, right through. And you can see that we're coming up on the farm here. There's a deep mud pit up ahead, which I'm not looking forward to, but once again, these tires do pretty well, and this is not an all-wheel drive truck, so you can see that they're pretty decent, and they seem to like, in the muck, it seems to like just straight up low gear. You don't need to go, if you go low, it'll get bogged. If you go to low high, it'll slip. But low seems, or low regular just seems to be where these tires are happy. So you don't even necessarily have to load the Snowrunner transmission, which means that you'll save a bit on fuel. Oh, and by the way, the fuel, that's the other thing. I forgot to show that the gauge. We've only used a little bit of fuel to get here. Now we still have a little bit of ways to go, but honestly, fuel consumption is not bad. And while we're on the way, we should probably take a minute just to take a look inside. We have some very nicely detailed cabs. This one tends to be Kenworth's, a little more modern looking cab. This is rough right here. Okay. But it's a nice modern cab for this kind of truck. So what would I use this truck for? Well, obviously it does everything. So you can use it for anything. But, you know, one thing that might work for this truck well is to do something like this where you bring a smaller truck and deliver it to an area so that you don't use up the fuel of the real off-road hero trucks. Right here we're getting in deep. And so I don't know that we're going to get much further. We'll try different speeds on the wheels. But I think we're stuck. Yeah, so. Crap. There we go. Get a tree that actually works. Take it to the limit. Come on, baby. There we go. So a little winching, and she starts moving again, and we're out of the bog. I think, personally, that for a no-wheel drive truck, well, I guess you consider this probably four-wheel drive, right? 8-wheel drive. There's 8 wheels driving, but it's probably 4x6. It does fairly well. It's not bad. And when you're pulling trailers with this truck, using it like as a standard semi-tractor trailer type situation, the weight, if you get a heavy trailer like a fuel or a water trailer, it does pretty dang well, because then you got some weight pushing down on the drive wheels, which will push them deeper into the mud, but they tend to grip better. So we got some weight on the back axle, but it's more evenly distributed. When you push down hard on those drive wheels, they actually do pretty well. So it's nice. Once again, the Kenworth interior, really nice. Modern interior. And we're back on the dry land. All in all, I would say that's a pretty successful trip. And we've delivered the farmer his truck successfully. Let's not talk about the damage done to the Rezvani. It's not great, but yeah. So this truck gets there, and it does so in style. And once again, it comes with these tires, so you don't have to buy extra tires for it that are to make it better. It comes with really good tires to begin with. So this is a great truck. But it is limited, so you have to keep it in mind. Now, let's go back to the other truck. I'm not sure how successful this is going to be. That was a real pain in the turd to get that thing on there, man. And honestly, I almost wish I would have backed it on, because it looks like most of the weight's at the back of the truck. But I guess it would be over the drive wheels, since this truck has the drive wheels pretty far back. Similar layout as the... I'm trying to remember what the name of the truck was. Hold on, let me see. I know it by heart. I should know this. It's the Pacific 512 layout. All right, so this time we're going to do a little bit more of a challenging run, because this truck is capable of a more challenging run. So we're going to take a shortcut. Oh, woe is me. I wish I wasn't doing this, but we're going to do it. I think this truck can make it. We may tip, though, on the way, because it is not the greatest route of all time. And we have a pretty top-heavy load. However, this truck does tend to sit down a little bit lower, so that may help us. And it's also a bit of a wider stance truck, so we may find that it does just fine. You can see here, this is a nice view in the cab. For those of you that like to play with the steering wheel and drive inside the truck, great looking Kenworth cab. A little bit smaller windows up front, but a lot of information on the dashboard. All of it not functional, probably. And the truck has always, same as the other truck, the diff locks are always locked. Now, the real weapon in this truck's arsenal is the fact that it has all-wheel drive also, so it has a much better chance of getting through the muck. Though that said, it does get stuck occasionally, so don't, it's not a super truck. It's a good truck, but it's not super. The frame is twisting around the weight of that tractor. This is where it's going to struggle, and you can see now that if you had the other bumper on, we would have gotten stuck on that right there. But because we have the smaller, well, that's not smaller bumper, but it juts out less. That helps us a little bit. I seem to recall they said if the truck does that stuttering thing like that's doing, it means that the motor's a little underpowered. I do have the best motor in both of these. They each have, well, this truck has 3 motor options and the other one has 2. I picked the most fuel inefficient ones, but if you pick the better efficiency ones, you may also be able to get the truck to go longer distances. But now I can tell you from experience here, the T880 would not make it through here. And I think, obviously, we may have trouble with this truck, too. Yeah, I think we're about to bog here. So let's try different wheel speeds. Nope. We are bogged. But we got the nice long winch. Once again, I would recommend putting a long winch. And I'm only using the winch, as much as I need to. I'm trying to avoid using it so we can see the capability of the truck. But once you get into a bog like that, oh god, that went the wrong way. You may struggle. And once again, that's part of the problem that with this truck not being so high up, is that it's going to be more susceptible to getting stuck in deep mud. But, we had the option of going a little bit better route, and I picked the harder route. So that's, once again, you may want to consider better routing too. This is my fault for not. I picked the worst route possible. It's really more of an off-roader monster truck type route, scout route. Seems like on this map, obviously the grays are paved. The dark browns are truck routes, dirt roads, and then the light brown is or tan is scout routes. And so they're nicely marked on the map. I chose to take a scout route with a big truck. Now, the good thing is that you can see here, we're almost to the farm already with the farmer's new tractor. This tractor has significantly less damage than the Rezvani did. And I took it through a much harder route, so. Actually, I'm just going to keep it in low. Watch that. Oof, that is kind of a dip there. So once again, in closing, are there other trucks that can do what these trucks do? Absolutely. Are you missing out by not having these trucks? No. Are you like me and you like to support the company and you really like the content that they come out with and you like trucks? Well, then, yeah. So then if you are that kind of person, then this is definitely worth it. If you're just worried about money and you're one of those people that just are like, well, I already got that in the game, so I'll never use it. Well, okay, then don't get it. But if you like supporting the game and you like, Kenworth trucks and you want some new trucks, well, then it's worth it. That's how I look at it. There's two camps. There's definitely people that like to spend money and people that don't want to spend any money. And so if you're of the camp that you don't want to spend any money unless you have to, well, in this, whoa, I psyched it over. I used my psi powers. You don't have to get this DLC. The good news for you, if you want to save some money, if you don't want to spend money, don't spend it because you don't need it. This is not a critical game-breaking pack. Like, oh my gosh, I must have that pack. But if you like the Kenworths and you like doing some heavy hauling with some big American trucks, well, this pack is good. So I think both trucks are very capable. They're fine at playing the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great night. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help. We do stream. I try to do Tuesday nights for Snowrunner. I haven't been doing it lately, but we are going to get back to that soon. The link to my Twitch channel is in the description if you don't know it. We'd love to see you there. In the meanwhile, have a great night. Thumbs up always help, and I'll see you next time. Bye.